gather to recognize our outstanding seniors who have excelled throughout their educational careers. We are also honored to share this evening with the educators who have provided us encouragement along our journey and inspired our many successes. Thank you for joining us on this special occasion, and we look forward to a night full of celebration as we reflect on our past and look forward to our futures. Casey Nichols will now share our invocation.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this food and for the hands that prepared it. Feed our souls on the bread of life and help us do our part in kind words and loving deeds. Provide our scholars with continued success in their endeavors. We ask in Jesus' name, amen. At this time, we will begin serving food. Tables 1 through 6 may move to the buffet line. Ms. Sidnor Watt.
Tonight we want to begin by recognizing and thanking Aramark Corporation for their generous contribution to Person High School for the Academic Recognition Dinner. This long-standing Person County tradition of recognizing honor graduates and their most special educators would not happen without their support. Representing Aramark this evening is Mr. Scott Beer, Regional Vice President. Mr. Beer, will you please stand? We also have Mr. Jerry Ball, Director of the Social Services for Person County Schools with us this evening. Without his link to Aramark, this wonderful event wouldn't be possible. Mr. Ball, will you please stand? We appreciate Brain Specialty's continued support of our academic recognition dinner. Brain Specialty has helped us for many years. Mr. Robert Crumpler, sales representative for Brain Specialty, has joined us this evening. Mr. Crumpler, will you please stand? A big thank you to Roxborough Kiwanis Club International for their many projects that help Person High School and Person County Schools. Their contribution tonight helps provide the awards that honor each graduate will receive. Representing the Roxborough Kiwanis Club this evening is the President-elect, Mr. Hogan Carringer. Mr. Carringer, will you please stand? We would like at this time to recognize the members of the Person County Board of Education. Board members, please stand when I call your name. We begin with Dr. Kay Allen, Chairman. Ms. Frida Tillman and her husband Reggie. Ms. Margaret Bradshaw and her husband David. Mr. Bradshaw is filming this event tonight for Channel 10. We are so appreciative for his generosity. Mr. Philip Gillis. Ms. Harriet Tillett. We would also like to recognize our central office staff in attendance. Please stand when your name is called. Dr. Rodney Pearson, Ms. Judy Bratcher, Ms. Paula Chandler, Ms. Tara Holmes, Ms. Lily Hayes, Mr. Jared Dennis, Ms. Lori Stacy, and Ms. Amy C. We are pleased to have our PHS administrators with us this evening. Please stand when your name is called. Ms. Nelson Norbois, Mr. Sean Douglas, Mr. Simon Justice, Mr. Chris Tomasic. Ms. Anna Fletcher, education and reporter for the Courier Times, joins us this evening. We appreciate all the coverage and support we receive from the Courier Times. Ms. Fletcher, please stand. Thank you. Ms. Lori Stacy will now introduce our speaker for the evening.
welcome. What an honor it is to be before the best of the best of Person High School, class of 2018. Thank you, students. Woo! I always want a microphone. This is dangerous. Thank you, students and parents for your dedication over the last 13 years. You worked hard. This is awesome. 2018. Thank you, teachers, for being that person that made a difference in the child that is sitting with you tonight. It's not money, but I would dare say it's almost as good as a monetary gift, if not better, to be selected. And for you, I'm truly grateful. Tonight, I have the assignment of introducing our guest speaker, Scott Cannon. He is a proud Rocket at heart. While at PHS, back in the Stone Ages, he was a member of a key club, the PHS drum line, a class officer, a PHS wrestler, and an active student body leader. Originally from Roxborough, North Carolina, Scott graduated from Person Senior High School in 1986, where 4 years later he received a bachelor's degree in graphic design from Appalachian State. I'm losing my spot. After graduation, he moved to Roanoke, Virginia, where his sales position allowed him to meet many businessmen and women. Scott's magnetic personality had these businesses seeking him to come join their sales teams. This led him to sales with Clayton Manufactured Homes, where he served in Roanoke, Nashville, Tennessee, and currently resides in Waco, Texas, where he has been for over a decade. He oversees Clayton home plants in Texas, Louisiana, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Colorado. Scott has been the #1 national sales team leader for 5 out of the last 6 years. What you wouldn't know about Scott is that he was just an average student. He would probably kill me for saying that. But he had to work at what he earned, but he did it. His drive, passion, grit, and love for helping others is what has gotten him where he is today. He never gave up. Scott is married to his wife of 24 years, Melanie, and they have 3 children. Parker, who's a senior at LSU, Fisher, a freshman at the University of Arkansas, and Salee, who's just like you, a high school senior at Midway High School in Waco. When looking back at Scott's bio, the successes he has experienced do not surprise me. Because of his work ethic, which was instilled in him at an early age by his parents, and because of his drive. That's intrinsic. His successes, nonetheless, amaze me. I am proud of the husband, the father, the businessman he has become. I'm only more proud of one thing, and that's that he's my brother. He's a pretty darn good uncle, too. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Scott Cannon.
They're all lies. I'm very proud to be here today. I'm very honored to be able to speak to you all. I gotta hold this too. Thank you, Dr. Peterson, Board of Education, Principal Sidnor, and Person High. I graduated in 1986, 32 years ago. I'm sitting here looking at Harriet Tillett. She was my chemistry teacher, and she looks younger than I do today. I saw Barbara King here tonight, another wonderful teacher. She taught me how to write a paper, and I made all A's in college. But you sit here 32 years ago, I graduated, and I thought, I used to think back, someone 32 years old, and they're old. Well, now I turned 50 this year. But right now, I live in Waco, Texas. We've been there for 15 years, and it really is a wonderful place. But I always call Roxborough home, and whenever anybody ever asks me where I'm from, I say Roxborough, North Carolina, and I'm proud to say that. When people think of Waco, Texas, though, you seniors maybe don't understand this, but Waco, Texas, for many years was, everybody thought of Waco, Texas being Dave Koresh and the Branch Davidians, and a horrible thing that happened. And over the last few years, a wonderful family, Chip and Joy Gaines, have created a lot of excitement in Waco and through HGTV, and they're a wonderful family. So now that you say from Waco, Texas, well, you know Chip and Joanna? Well, yeah, I've met them. As a matter of fact, they've done 2 of my sales reps' houses. They've been on the episodes if anyone watches HQE. But it's so funny when they ask me where I'm from. I say Roxborough, North Carolina. I say, where's that? I said, close to Bushy Ford. Like, what? Close to Durham, North Carolina. It's like, oh, okay. But you know, in life, you can't know where you're going unless you know where you came from. And that was a quote from P. Diddy. Yeah, I was predestined to go to Appalachian State. My mom and dad both went there, and that's where they met. And luckily, that's where I met my bride of 24 years. The advantage of growing up in a small town, though, is this town is like a family. You know, it's so wonderful. After 32 years being gone, I see so many friends that I've known over the years right here, and they're like family. And when I was going to college, didn't really know how I was going to pay for college. And there was a man here, his name Ray Cruz, and he owned a business here in town. It was called Piedmont Maintenance Services. And I always tell people that I went to college on the Ray Cruz scholarship. The thing that was funny though, it was a construction company. So we all wore hard hats to work. And like I said, Piedmont Maintenance Services. So on your hard hat it said PMS. And you're walking around a power plant, all kinds of jokes there. I dated a girl in high school, and she did it academically and went to Duke University on a full scholarship. Matter of fact, she was a speaker here a few years ago, Susan Cates. Brilliant lady. And education, though, is the vital success to life. You know, my first job out of college, and you seniors, you'll get there one day. You're going to think like feel like it's going to be forever. My first job out of college, though, is an internship with a paper company out of Raleigh. And my boss he just sat in his office all the time. And he never came out, never tried to train me how to do anything. And he just comes out one day and he says, you know what? He says, you'll never make it in this business. And thank goodness I was close to my internship with this company. So it was time to move on. So I went to work for their #1 account they had. And in 3 years, I was within the top 9 sales reps of that company. So the lesson of that is, when someone tells you you can't do something, you make sure they're watching when you do it. For 24 years, I've been in the manufactured housing business. And what we do is we build affordable housing. And right now, there's a shortage of housing throughout the country. And you look at this prices of site-built houses going through the roof. What I do is a great alternative to site-built housing. It's affordable housing. But the facility that I manage in Waco, we'll do about $70 million worth of business this year. 2,700 houses out of one facility. Like this week, we're building 60 homes in 1 week. And they're all sold before they ever leave the plant. I'm responsible for 250 families, because we don't believe in nepotism. You can't have multiple family members in the plant. So I always take this very serious. It's up to me for people, to eat, for families to have, an income. And since I've been in this facility, we've never shut it down for 1 day. Always, perception is in the eyes of the beholder. And you never judge a book by its cover. I had a customer that had a guy show up on his sales center one day, and the guy was looking for a manufactured house and looked around for hours and couldn't find what he wanted. And he says, hold on a second. This guy, when he pulled on the sales center, he had ripped up jeans, he had a beat up pickup truck, and so naturally the people in the sales center were like, he can't afford anything, he can't afford to buy a home. So the guy goes to his truck, comes back, and he opens this ratty old briefcase, my buddy told me, and he pulls out this floor plan of this home. My buddy David said, the guy's name was Sam, was his customer. He said, Sam, he said, this is going to be expensive. How are you going to pay for this? And Sam said, I'll be paying cash. Said, okay. He said, Sam, we still need to do a sales contract. And Sam said, okay. He says, Sam, what's your last name? And David's writing his name. He says, Walton. Sam Walton. Walmart, Sam Walton. So in the 80s, Walmart was just, picking up whatnot. But that goes to show you, you got someone with the means of Sam Walton, and he lived his life very conservatively. You know, he could have built the biggest mansion you've ever seen in your life, but he decided to buy a manufactured house. Matter of fact, he bought 4. And the whole reason was he bought a 10,000 square foot, or 10,000 acre ranch just so he could take his friends hunting. And his wife refused to go down there because of the dilapidated mobile home he had at the time. She refused to go down there. But just goes to show you, never judge a book by its cover because you never know who you're going to be dealing with. Another thing, I've always lived my life, where there's a will, there's a way to do anything. And when you go to college next year and you're sitting there and you're stressed out about taking exams, you can get through this, but you've got to study. My sales teams, they all get so tired of hearing this statement, but it's so true. I always live my life, the 5 P's. Prior planning prevents poor performance. And study. You know, I've got a kid, senior at LSU in chemical engineering, Harry, and I have another son in Sam Walton Business School right now in Arkansas. My daughter's going to go to Arkansas as well as a nurse. But I'm telling you, the pressure of college it's tough. But I promise you, you get through it. You'll always be hungry, humble, and smart. Meaning hungry, strive for more. Respectful for others, humble. Smart, make smart choices. I challenge you to inspire someone. My father was a music teacher for 33 years and taught band, and he inspired me through music, and I love music to this day. I mean, I'm 50 years old, I'm still playing drums. And also, the spirit of giving. My father, he would see kids that come through the music program, and they couldn't afford to buy, an instrument, and he would buy it for them. Anytime a senior was graduating, he would take if they want to sell their instrument, he would sell it because he knew that it would be a student that would need an instrument. One of the greatest lessons he taught me in life, though, was always be respectful of all people. He says, I don't care if the town drunk is falling down drunk and you treat him with respect. You say, yes, sir, or, it's a female, yes, ma'am. Always be respectful. My mother inspired me, for love and to help others. They all called her the grocery lady. I remember growing up. Our church had a deal where if a family was coming through town and didn't have any money, they'd send them to Judy. She'd take them to the grocery store and take them shopping for food. But inspire someone. It takes a village to raise a child. It really does. This is a wonderful community, and there are a lot of people in this town that inspired me. Probably the biggest were teachers like Harriet, Barbara King, but the principals I had growing up. You're probably going to not remember these names, but Logan Dent was my elementary school principal, and he was a wonderful man. We had Doug Gray, who was the junior high principal at the time, wonderful man. These people they were never negative. They always would teach you through, if you made a mistake, they would teach you through the problems, the mistakes you made. And Doug Gray's wife, Sandra Gray, my 3rd grade teacher, wonderful lady. One of my favorite teachers of all time, though, was a lady by the name Miss Coakley. Miss Coakley, she set a lot of direction in my life in the 4th grade. I would come to school, just sit in the corner, real quiet. Well, that's a lie. I would talk a lot. And Miss Coakley's deal was, if you were talking, she would pick up an eraser. And if you're in the back of the room, she could hit you right square between the eyes, and she would, bam. So then you're walking down the hallway, and all of a sudden you've got this big chalk mark on your shirt, and it said, "You're Miss Coakley's class, aren't you?" Miss Coakley was old, and she's still alive to this day. She's still here in Person County. There was another family, Jim and Marie Cates, and the very first date I ever had in my life, I was asking her daughter for a date. So I go to pick her up. When I'm picking her up, Mr. Cates is sitting on the couch, and he's cleaning a 12-gauge shotgun. He just went dove hunting. I've heard this story from other people, but this happened to me. And he said, Scott, what time are you going to have my daughter on tonight? I said, what time do you want me to have her home? He said, 10:30. By 10 o'clock, we were home. We, two other people, Charlie Hubbard, finest man I ever knew in my life, and his wife, Bee Hubbard. Just great people. For all through high school, I worked at Cole's Pharmacy uptown. It's so wonderful to come back to this town and see the things in your childhood that are still there. And James Carver and Al Cole are two of the most wonderful men I know in this town. And they always made sure I had work also. And they always said, you're going to be something in this world. You're going to touch many lives. And I have. I've traveled probably 2/3 of the United States. I've traveled all over the world. And I've trained thousands of salespeople, basically how to sell. And it's just all about caring, and it's encouraging people. Because I've had bosses in the past, and you'll have, unfortunately, sometimes you'll have, teachers maybe in college that, you're just a number. You've got 500 people in a classroom, and it's up to you to make it. But encourage someone. Successful businesses are made from great people, great people, not buildings, material things. No one, we all put our pants on one leg at a time, and not one person in this world is better than another person in God's eyes. Treat people the way you want to be treated, with respect. And I promise you're going to fall madly in love, and you're going to get your heart broken. But I promise you'll get through it. It's going to hurt so bad, you're going to think you're not going to be able to take another breath, but I promise you'll get through it. It leads me to something, another deal. You're going to experience death. I have a 19-year-old son, and his junior year in high school, his best friend, his girlfriend had broken up with him, and he didn't think that he could go on, so he chose not to. Pulled in the high school parking lot and shot himself 3 times in the stomach. He died. Life goes on. Last summer, it was very important, people go to the lake. Last summer, summer before last, he was on a boat, and on a boat, typically there's a depth finder. The depth finder showed 15 feet, the depth of the water 15 feet. So Fisher jumps off the back of the boat, feet first, like you're supposed to do. His other best friend dove off the front. Fisher comes back up, sits on the boat. His friend Nick, he thinks he's just playing. He's like, Nick, stop playing around. There were 8 of them. They jumped in the water, but they found Nick immediately. And he had hit a sandbar, and he broke his neck. And they tried to give him CPR, and it didn't work. He died. You're going to experience death, but make smart choices in life. You never dive into a lake. It's something you can't see the bottom of the lake. My company has a great saying. It says, go fast alone, go far together. A raindrop. You think a raindrop is a very insignificant thing, but you put them together and they can overcome an army. This town and the people in it built me. And I'm so happy to be from this town, Roxborough, North Carolina. It's another thing that you think about when you're taking exams in college and in tough times in your life. There's a Bible verse, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things in Christ that strengthens me. Thank you all.
Good evening. My name is Najoa Gonzalez Asensio, and I just wanted to thank you, Mr. Cannon. That was very nice. Today I'll be introducing Mr. Greg Turner, French teacher and Person High School's Teacher of the Year, and he will call each senior's name and honored educator's name and share the reason for their invitation this evening. Seniors, when your name is called, please make your way to Ms. Squaw and Dr. Allen to receive your award. Honored educators, please stand when your name is called. Mr. Turner, the podium is all yours.
you hear me? All right. Oh, that's comfortable. All right. I brought my own notes. Had to put commas in the right places, fix the subject-verb agreements. Thank you, Mr. Cannon. That was very nice. Thank you very much. The following are North Carolina scholars. These students have maintained a 3.5 or higher GPA, unweighted, throughout their high school career. North Carolina scholar Megan Barker, whose mother is Melissa Barker, honors Alexandria Miller. Megan is also an AP scholar with distinction. I chose to nominate Miss Miller because she has inspired me to stay motivated and to always work hard for something you want. I know that I can always go to her for help or advice, or if I just need someone to talk to. North Carolina scholar, I'm going to turn the microphone.
North Carolina scholar Derek Barron Castillo, whose parents are Veronica Castillo and Jose Ortiz, honors Greg Turner. I chose to nominate Mr. Turner because he has taught me many life lessons and is a friend. He is really cool and his classes are my favorite.
I'll try not to do that again. All right. North Carolina scholar Joseph Berryhill, whose parents are Susie and Cal Berryhill, honors David Ag Jones. Mr. Jones taught me more than agri-science and natural resources. He taught me leadership, respect, and responsibility. North Carolina scholar Jarrett Brooks, whose parents are Lisa and Timmy Brooks, honors David Ag Jones. Mr. Jones has always made the material in his class apply to everyone, not just people interested in agriculture. He has taught me so much about leadership and has always supported me and my choices. North Carolina scholar Kennedy Cox, whose parents are Jennifer Barker and Matt Roberts, honors Jay Carmichael. Mr. Carmichael always made learning interesting and fun. I always look forward to going to his class. North Carolina scholar Brianna Downey, whose mother and grandmother are Annie and Vicki Williams, honors Hogan Carringer. He welcomed my thoughts and opinions whether he agreed or not. They could be as uncensored and as biased as they were, and he'd never judge nor silence me. To me, that's the best kind of teacher there is. North Carolina scholar Jacob Evans, whose parents are Lisa and George Evans, honors Kenneth Dixon. I chose Kenneth Dixon because of what he has taught me that prepared me for life inside and outside the classroom. North Carolina scholar Brittany Farman, whose parents are Tammy and Alan Farman, honors Geraldine Garrettson. Mrs. Garrettson more than prepared me for the challenges of rigorous honors and AP classes. I cannot thank her enough for all of her hard work and dedication. North Carolina scholar Eliza Folkler, whose parents are Amy Folkler and Randy Butler, honors Laura Shepard. Thank you so much for everything you have done for me, especially in 7th and 8th grade. Thank you for supporting me in everything I do, and you will never know how much I truly appreciate you. North Carolina scholar Erica Folkestad, whose mother is Sherry Folkestad, honors Jonathan Chesson. Erica is also an advanced placement scholar. Mr. Chesson has always encouraged me to strive for the most and reach my full potential, whether it be in music or in leadership among my peers. Moreover, he has always provided me with the best life advice, and I truly consider him to be a lifelong friend and mentor. Without his guidance, I would not be the same person I am today. North Carolina scholar Kaylee Furrow, whose parents are Cassandra and Edward Furrow, honors Gay Jones. Thank you so much for being a great teacher, and one I will truly never forget. North Carolina scholar Samantha Gaines, whose parents are Sue and Kevin Gaines, honors Penny Wright. Mrs. Wright is not only a teacher, but a friend and a motherly figure to me. Her sense of humor is what makes all of her students love her, and I couldn't have asked for a better teacher for 3 semesters of my high school career.
North Carolina scholar Kaylin Glenn, whose parents are Stacy and Scott Glenn, honors Greg Turner. Mr. Turner has helped me figure out what I want to do in life and where I want to end up. He has taught me so much about college and life. I know the person that I want to be, and he has helped me see how I can get there.
North Carolina scholar Najave Gonzalez Asensio, whose parents are Patricia and Greg Holmes, honors Jonathan Chesson. I nominate Jonathan Chesson because he was not only my teacher, but my best friend. He was always there to guide me through the hardships of high school and encourage me to be a better person than I was yesterday. North Carolina scholar Vericky Goods, whose parents are Anna and Richard Goods, honors Roy Allen. Sorry, Mr. Allen. I chose to nominate this person because I feel that Mr. Allen has been a great teacher this year. He motivates us to do better in and out of school. He is someone I can look to as a mentor and a friend. North Carolina scholar Gavin Goodwin, whose parents are Bridget and Jimmy Goodwin, honors Allison Dacus. I chose to nominate Mrs. Dacus because of all the funny moments we had over the 3 years I have had her as a teacher. Throughout this time, we spent a lot of time laughing, working hard, and most notably, arguing for the sake of arguing. She really doesn't like admitting when she's wrong. North Carolina scholar Thomas Alex Gravitt, whose parents are April Williams and Tommy Gravitt, honors David Klein. Since freshman year, he has shown he genuinely cares about me and my future. He coached me in football all 4 years as one of the main reasons I kept playing. After the season ended, he still reached out and wrote me a recommendation for a college scholarship. He is a great mentor and deserves recognition. North Carolina scholar Austin Hall, whose parents are Karen and Paul Hall, honors Brian Lawson. He has not only dealt with me throughout all of high school, but he has taught me so many things in and out of school that will help me now and later in life. North Carolina scholar Anna Harris, whose parents are Sharon and Mike Harris, honors Lauren Copley. Anna is also an advanced placement scholar. I chose to invite Mrs. Copley not only because she was an amazing teacher who reinforced my interest in science, but she has also continued to support me throughout high school. North Carolina scholar Philip Jack Harris, whose parents are Sharon and Mike Harris, honors Sharon Harris. Mom, thanks for being my teacher since I was little and encouraging me when I wanted to quit. You have had a huge influence on me and continue to motivate me every day. Way to go, Mom. North Carolina scholar Carly Hawkins, whose parents are Christy and Billy Hawkins, honors Blakely Lord. Choosing a class taught by a teacher with a gorgeous bright blue bob could not have been a better decision. Your original personality taught me how to learn in so many different ways. Thank you. North Carolina scholar Tracy Hawkins, whose parents are Paula and Tracy Hawkins, honors Justin Ferguson. Tracy is also an AP scholar with distinction and couldn't stop writing. I chose to nominate Mr. Ferguson because of his ability to teach with his own unique style. He doesn't just read off lines of a PowerPoint, he makes learning entertaining and isn't afraid to inject humor into the classroom. Anyone can easily approach Mr. Ferguson with any issue they're having, and he will not hesitate to offer advice. Besides teaching in the classroom, my nominee is an excellent golf coach. I can attest. His coaching ability has enabled me to make large strides in my golf game. Lastly, he's a great sport. He doesn't get upset when I beat him at a game he taught me to play. North Carolina scholar Matthew Heflin, whose parents are Jennifer and Roger Heflin, honors Brian Hurdle. Thank you, Coach, for everything. From making me a better football player to making me a better person. Also, thank you for the endless laughs. North Carolina scholar Jordan Hughes, whose parents are Michelle and Amos Hughes, honors Scott Schwartz. Jordan is also an advanced placement scholar. I choose Mr. Schwartz because he was the first counselor to actively sit down and discuss my future. He would always pull me out of class, making sure that I had a solid plan for the future. Without Mr. Schwartz, I would not be as prepared for college as I am now. North Carolina scholar Star Johnson, whose mother is Joanne Johnson, honors Emily Simpson. Miss Simpson, thank you so much for everything you have done for me these past 2 years. You helped make it possible for me to attend college, and I'm incredibly grateful for everything you have done to help me. North Carolina scholar Peyton Krause, whose parents are April and Jimmy Krause, honors Jamie Flowers. Although I have only gotten to know Mrs. Flowers over the course of a year, she has made a huge impact on my life. She is always willing to help with literally anything that you need, and is one of the most kind-hearted people I have had the pleasure of meeting. Her love for teaching and for her students shows in everything that she does. North Carolina scholar Yesenia Martinez Yanez, whose parents are Juana Martinez Yanez and Selvin Martinez, honors Susan Hess. Mrs. Hess was my art teacher from 1st through 5th grade. Her class is what ignited my interest in art because I was able to express myself through many mediums throughout projects over the years. North Carolina scholar Kelsey McMahon, whose parents are Stephanie and Ronnie McMahon Jr., honors Antoinette Valines Torian. Mrs. V has inspired me by teaching her class with enthusiasm. I always enjoyed attending her class and seeing her smile. She is an exemplary person, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for her. North Carolina scholar Oscar Morales Powell, whose parents are Michelle Morales and Oscar Perez, honors Emily Simpson. Miss Simpson always helped me when I had college questions or when I needed help with my classes. She is the best counselor I could ask for. She always helped me in pursuing my dreams and being able to go to college. North Carolina scholar Ryan Nesbitt, whose parents are Cassandra and James Nesbitt, honors Jackie Boone. Miss Boone was the most helpful and encouraging teacher I ever had. She was not only a great educator, but also taught me the values of good character. North Carolina scholar and birthday boy Robert Casey Nichols, whose parents are Beth and Chris Nichols, honors Lori Western. I choose Mrs. Western because of the lasting influence she has had throughout my school years. Not only did she turn me into a Duke fan for a few weeks, but she has continued to stay in touch with me throughout the years, ever since kindergarten. I really appreciate Mrs. Western and the inspiration she has given me throughout the years. Happy birthday, man. North Carolina scholar Austin Oakley, whose parents are Vicki and Scotty Oakley, honors Jennifer Perrier. Austin is also an AP scholar with honor. I nominated you because your love and kindness had a special impact on my childhood. I will never forget your warm hugs, and I especially won't forget our in-class jazzercise workout with Mrs. Davis. You have helped create some of the fondest memories of my childhood, and I am truly blessed to have had you as a 3rd grade teacher.
North Carolina scholar Lacey Perry, whose parents are Kimberly Hayes and Mike Perry, honors Greg Turner. I chose Mr. Turner because he showed me that I can do whatever I wanted to do. There is no limit to my potential.
North Carolina scholar Jediah Richardson, whose parents are Nikisha and Eric Smith, honors Dwayne Johnson. Mr. Johnson makes me feel important and successful in and out of school. He takes a personal interest in my success and builds my confidence. He is a very upbeat, funny, and outgoing person inside and outside of the classroom, and has a very positive bond with his students. He makes learning a wonderful and entertaining experience for all of us. He is a teacher who we all look forward to seeing every day. North Carolina scholar Ryan Riddle, whose parents are Tammy and Michael Riddle, honors Terry Scoggins. When I first applied for my classes for senior year, I only signed up for electrical trades with plans to later drop the class to qualify for academic release. You gotta respect the honesty. That's when I found out that PHS no longer offers academic release anymore. Mr. Scoggins was able to take a class I didn't care about at first and turn it into one of the best classes I have ever taken in high school and make the subject into a possible career choice for me in the future. North Carolina scholar Christina Roberts, whose parents are Brenda Stepansky Roberts and Kenneth Roberts, honors Laquita Lipscomb. I nominated Mrs. Lipscomb because she has pushed me throughout my high school years, especially these last two. Thank you for all that you've done. North Carolina scholar Kayla Tuck, whose parents are Elizabeth and Michael Tuck, honors Sergeant First Class Anthony. I chose Sergeant First Class Anthony because she's one of the best and realest teachers in the school. She mentored me in some of my weakest aspects and helped me become stronger in them. So, Sergeant First Class Anthony, thank you for teaching me life lessons and helping me become a better person. I'll make you proud when I leave for training. North Carolina scholar April Walker, whose parents are Geraldine Nardi and Mike Walker, honors Penny Wright. I have always looked at Miss Wright as someone close to me that is always able to give the best advice and support. Without her help, I wouldn't be the student I am today. Thank you for everything. North Carolina scholar Noah Wallace, whose parents are Debbie and Larry Wallace, honors Walter Montgomery. Mr. Walter Montgomery was my 4th grade teacher. He taught persistence, patience, and generous amounts of support. He also threw in a little bit of a humor occasionally. My parents and I believe that he set me on the path to academic success. I was fortunate to have other great teachers, but Mr. Montgomery had the key to unlock my potential. North Carolina scholar Brent Witt, whose parents are Don and Darian Witt, honors Jonathan Chesson. Thank you for all that you have done for me. You believed in me and encouraged me to help shape the person I am today. North Carolina scholar Dylan Yarborough, whose mother is Jackie Yarborough, honors Dwayne Johnson. Mr. Johnson's class was fun and enjoyable. He genuinely cared for his students and made everyone feel at home. The following students are Person County scholars. These students have maintained a 3.0 to 3.49 GPA, unweighted, throughout their high school career. Person County scholar Bailey Allen, whose parents are Erica and Henry Carr, honors Allison Bowers. I chose Mrs. Bowers because I feel like she is the teacher that made a difference in my life, academically and personally. Mrs. Bowers is one of the most inspirational people I've ever met. I want to thank her for not only teaching me, but also making a difference in my life. Person County scholar Kylie Blackwell, whose parents are Jody Blackwell and Dana Blackwell, and Wendy Thompson, honors Prentice Hargrove. After all these years, no teacher has made class more memorable and fun than Hargrove has. He helped me remember better than any teacher because he would always have us study and work with others. Person County scholar Taylor Bowes, whose parents are Lisa Weaver and Thomas Warner, honors Linda Lynch. Mrs. Linda Lynch is such an inspirational teacher to me. She was there when I would be stressing over life's problems that just didn't involve math. She is more than just a great teacher. She is a wonderful, caring friend that I am very privileged to have on my side and to have met. Thank you so very much for all your help. I will miss you on my journey through college, but I will never forget all your great advice. Person County Scholar, Lexi Bowman, whose mother is Jennifer Bowman, honors Catherine Hickey. I chose Mrs. Hickey because even though she only taught me for a year, she always supported me. She always told me to follow my dream in music and arts. Person County Scholar, Andrew Carpenter, whose parents are Melanie and James Carpenter, honors Emily Simpson. Thank you for all the help and guidance you've given me, for helping through the past few years, and for helping me get into the college of my choice. I'll miss you next year. Person County Scholar, Chiquia Carter, whose mother is Lakeisha Patchett, honors Tawana Seeds. Miss Seeds always kept a smile on her face. Her attitude remained positive even when students misbehaved. I will always remember Miss Seeds because she changed the way I view the world, and I thank her for it. Person County Scholar, Christina Seha Manzo, whose parents are Francisco Manzo and Roman Seha, honors Joanne Blanks. I nominate Mrs. Blanks because she helped me so much in A-Push, and she was there for me when I was at my lowest. She listened, gave advice, and I couldn't ask for a better teacher. Person County Scholar, Colin Chandler, whose parents are Devin and Chad Chandler, honors David Klein. Klein was my favorite and most fun teacher by far. He is very laid back, and all we did was make fun of each other. Person County Scholar, Kaylee Clayton, whose parents are Melissa and Chris Shaw, honors Amanda Harris. I choose this nominee because she greatly impacted my educational life and my everyday life. She was forever active in my life, supporting me and guiding me in every possible way she could. Throughout school, she supported and helped me even when I was not in her class. To this day, she supports me, and she is continuously keeping up with me, and I could not be more thankful for the unconditional love and support she has shown me over the years. Person County Scholar, Madison Cornett, whose parents are Susan and Doug Cornett, honors Barbara King. I really enjoyed her class. She helped me become a better writer, and I appreciate her very much. I will never forget the time she sewed up my cardigan because people kept telling me I had a hole in it. Thank you, Mrs. King. Person County Scholar, Jordan Cox, whose parents are Joanna Riley and Jody Cox, honors Penny Wright. Mrs. Wright is one of the most caring and sweet teachers I know. She's always in a good mood, and her personality shows through her teaching. She has also guided me into my career path. Person County Scholar, Sylvia Espinoza, whose parents are Antonia and Salvador Espinoza, honors Lisa Garrett. You impacted my life in more ways than one, and I'm extremely grateful for everything you did for me. I love you, Mrs. Garrett. Person County Scholar, Mackenzie Fisher, whose parents are Angela and Jeremy Fisher, honors Jennifer Tong. My 11th grade year, Mrs. Tong was my English 2 teacher. A short while later, when we found out that our cheer coach was leaving, she became my new cheer coach. Not long after this, my yearbook advisor at the time decided to take some time off, and not surprisingly, Mrs. Tong also then became my yearbook advisor. In summary, it's safe to say that over the past year or two, Mrs. Tong and I have spent a lot of time together. From stressful practices and games to trying to meet a deadline and all the in-betweens. Not only does Mrs. Tong wear so many different hats at Person High School, she wears every single one with a smile. Though she may not know it or see it, her dedication and persistence is something that is truly encouraging when school gets stressful. I want to thank her for always being so patient and committed, even though we all know working with high schoolers isn't the easiest at times. I know I'm not, and will never be, the only one to notice what an amazing teacher she truly is. Person County Scholar, Juan Flores, whose mother is Heidi Carter, honors Brian Lawson. Thank you, Mr. Lawson, for being a fun teacher. I've had the privilege of knowing you for 4 years, whether it be soccer or academics. You are truly an inspiration to me, whether you realize it or not, because of your success in life and because of the type of person you are. Your personality speaks for itself, and your presence is appreciated. Thank you for all that you do. Person County Scholar, Nicholas Fuller, whose parents are Tanya and Mark Fuller, honors David Ag Jones. Mr. Jones has actively influenced my educational goals over the past 4 years of high school. He has impacted my interest in the field of agricultural engineering, and he has been a teacher that has always been there for me the past 4 years. Person County Scholar, Ariana Gonzalez, whose parents are Erica and Hank D., honors Alexandria Miller. Miss Miller is a great role model for students. She also pushes us further than we push ourselves. I'm so thankful to have a phenomenal college advisor like her, and I aspire to be as influential as she. Person County Scholar, Justin Green, whose parents are Kelly and Mike Page, honors Brian Lawson. When I decided to take Mr. Lawson's drafting class, I did not know what to expect. I quickly learned that the class was interesting, and so was the teacher. He drove us to the best we could be and expected nothing less. Thank you, Mr. Lawson, for all the reasons you have taught. Person County Scholar, Emily Harris, whose parents are Lisa and Douglas Harris, honors Joey Warren. I always remember Mr. Warren's class being a fun, interactive class. He prepared me for middle school. Since 5th grade, he has always kept up with how I was doing in and out of school. Person County Scholar, Austin Holder, whose parents are Nancy and Larry Holder, honors Brittany Booth. Miss Booth has allowed me a place where I felt free from the pain and sadness of the world and life. She allowed me to voice myself and help me in one of the most challenging times of my life. I hope that I have made as much of an impact on her life as she has made in mine. Person County Scholar, Taylor Holt, whose parents are Wendy and Jason Holt, honors Barbara King. I nominate Mrs. Barbara King because she taught me so much about life. I remember when a lot of students would bash her for being strict, but I loved how she cared about my education. Because of her, I scored 130 points more on my second SAT attempt. She taught me how to write correctly, and I am grateful for that. Good use of the adverb. Person County Scholar, Haley Howard, whose parents are Dawn and Donald Howard, honors Catherine Osborne. I chose to nominate Miss Osborne because she has been one of my favorite teachers throughout my PCS education. Her positive attitude is contagious, and she always knows how to make learning fun. Person County Scholar, Sierra Hughes, whose parents are Antoinette and James Hughes, honors Alexandria Miller. Miss Miller continuously supports and enriches the lives of her students to ensure the best quality of educational opportunities. She stands firm in the belief of encouragement and displays this action often during her daily tasks. Miss Miller is the example of courage and strength. I love you, Miss Miller. Person County Scholar, Kirsten Keeter, whose parents are Helen and James Keeter, Jr., honors Dwayne Johnson. Mr. Johnson took the time with me 2 or 3 times a week after school to just study. His class is the only class I really learned anything from 9th grade. He helped me prepare for all of my tests, and I really appreciate his time. Person County Scholar, Aubrey Latman, whose parents are Tanya and Kirk Seat, honors Tisha Shefferson. Funny and loving are a few things I would say describe Mrs. Shefferson, or what most of us know her by, Ms. Mac. She always knows how to help us handle a problem we were having and to be a great friend while doing it. Everyone who had her loved her just as she loved us. We all love you. Person County Scholar, Haviland Lawson, whose parents are Teresa and Cletus Lawson, honors Matthew West. Mr. West has made a big impact on my life. He encouraged me to take more rigorous classes because he saw the potential in me. He has always been there for me when I needed him. Person County Scholar Isaiah Lipscomb, whose parents are Christina and Calvin Lipscomb, honors Tori Daniel. The reason I choose Mr. Daniel for my nominee is because he made the classroom open. What I mean by that is that it was easy to share ideas and put one's opinion out to be considered and not criticized. When I think back to my experiences in Mr. Daniel's classroom, I see everyone mixing ideas together to design something new and unique. Person County Scholar, Tamia Lipscomb, whose parents are Laquita and Christopher Lipscomb Sr., honors Jamie Phelps. Mr. Phelps was not only a great teacher, but a great person. After being in his class, I learned so much about psychology, and it has inspired me to major in psychology. I enjoyed his class so much because he was always engaging and fun. Person County Scholar, Tiffany McCain, whose grandmother is Dorothy McCain, honors Helen Elliott. I nominated Mrs. Elliott because she has always been there for me these past 4 years. She pushed me and encouraged me to do my best and never give up on my dreams. I appreciate everything you have done for me, and I would just like to say thank you. Person County Scholar, Augusta Mosley, whose parents are Teresa and Christy Spencer, honors Angie Utley. I chose Mrs. Utley because she always encouraged me to do my best, and she always keeps me out of trouble.
Person County Scholar Maria Paula Osorio, whose father is Hector Osorio, honors Greg Turner. Mr. Turner has always shown me support through his kind words, advice, and help. He was the only teacher who could always tell when I was feeling down. Having to see him every morning makes my morning better since he receives me with a warm smile and his enthusiasm. I chose Mr. Turner because I see him as a friend, and I wish I could have him as a teacher in college. Person County Scholar Ada Reyes, whose parents are Ana Gonzalez and Arturo Reyes, honors Greg Turner. Mr. Turner, you cared for everyone that was in your class as if they are a part of your family. You taught your class so unique that everyone learned the best. I am glad that I met a teacher that is funny, but expects us to work hard at the same time. I pursued French because I love the language and because you were my favorite teacher, and I was always happy to go to your class, and I have so much stress. I'll truly miss the experience of being in your class and hear you being sassy to everyone. I hope you make many more students love your class, and thank you for being my truly wonderful teacher.
Person County Scholar Kylie Reeves, whose parents are Stephanie and Philip Reeves, honors Richard Hughes. I chose Coach Hughes because he is obviously my favorite teacher, but he also taught me many things through the 6 years I had him, whether it be to never give up or how to do a proper push-up, because I always tried to cheat while doing them. Coach Hughes could always put a smile on my face even when I was in the worst mood, because as a child I hated school, and PE was of course going to be my favorite class. Thank you, Coach Hughes, for all the things you taught me. Person County Scholar Erica Reyes, whose parents are Maria Herrera and Jose Reyes, honors April Olson. Art has always been my favorite subject, so it would be obvious that Mrs. Olson would be my nominee. Through her class, I was able to better my drawing technique and properly use mediums and convey my thoughts. Thank you for pushing us when we wanted to give up, and most importantly, thank you for being an amazing teacher that inspired many, including me, and made taking art worthwhile. Person County Scholar Jediah Sanford, whose parents are Shannon Sanford and Jordan Dixon, honors Alexandria Miller. I chose Alexandria Miller because no matter how many students are in her office, she will make sure everyone leaves with something accomplished. She's the reason I've been accepted into 2 colleges thus far. Thanks, Mill. Person County Scholar, Anaya Sanford, whose parents are Angela Shannon and Norrin Dancy, honors Alexandria Miller. I chose Miss Miller because she has always had my best interest at heart. Without her, I wouldn't be attending the college that I plan to, and I wouldn't be as happy as I was with my senior year. Person County Scholar, Haley Smith, whose parents are Michelle and Kevin Dickerson, honors Kay Allen. Dr. Allen has made a huge impact on my life. She's a very strong and independent woman whom I admire. She was my principal all through Helena, pairing me with teachers that would challenge me. She kept in touch through middle school as I was very sick. Dr. Allen, along with Mrs. Tillett, were concerned for my health first and also my education. In high school, I have faced some obstacles, and knowing the person she is, I know my education is important to her, and I know she will always be rooting for me. For that, I thank you, Dr. Allen. Can you come to Campbell with me?
Person County Scholar, Carrie Settle, whose parents are Jennifer Settle and Charlie McCarthy, honors Greg Turner. Mr. Turner is absolutely one of the most dedicated teachers at Person High. He takes time to acknowledge the unique personalities of each of his students and never gives up on any of them. He has pushed me to succeed, and I will always be grateful for his lovely personality and open mind.
Person County Scholar, Alexis Thompson, whose parents are Priscilla and Maurice Thompson, honors Cornelius Lassiter. I chose Mr. Lassiter because he could always make me laugh when I was having a bad day. I would always get the best advice from him, and he was always honest with me. Person County Scholar, Autumn Torreen, whose parents are Lisa and Arthur Torreen, honors Joanne Adams. I chose to nominate this person because Mrs. Adams was always loving and supporting. No matter how many questions I asked and how many times you explained one question to me, you always made sure I understood the information. Person County Scholar, Mackenzie Vaughn, whose parents are Julie and Mark Vaughn, honors Joanne Blanks. If not for you, I would not be where I am today. I am eternally grateful for your kindness and devotion to not only my education, but my well-being. You and other teachers like you are God's gift to the education system. Person County Scholar, Christopher Young, whose mother is Gail Young, honors Prentice Hargrove. I choose you, Mr. Hargrove, because you pushed me to succeed in a subject that I had great struggles. You also taught me that not everything comes easy and must be worked at. You are a devoted teacher and coach that makes sure we get help if we ask. Thank you for teaching me, Mr. Hargrove. Round of applause for all our Person County, North Carolina scholars.
I just wanted to present on behalf of Person High School a gift to Mr. Cannon. Thank you so much for traveling from Texas to be here with us today. Thank you so much. Thank you.
This isn't a script. As we come to the conclusion of our evening, we would like to thank you for joining us to celebrate the accomplishments of the class of 2018. Congratulations to our seniors, congratulations to our parents, guardians, teachers, and special guests who have made this journey possible. Best wishes for the days to come. Thank you and have a good evening.